everyone and welcome back to Joys It Flies. If you're new here, my name's Cassidy and I deal with the sewing side of this channel. So today I've got a really simple tutorial for you and I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a book cover bag. So this is such a cute little project and it's perfect if you're a book lover or you're making it for someone who's a book lover. It's basically a book cover but on a strap, so it makes it like a bag so you can carry it around with you everywhere you go. And if you're like me and you can take your book everywhere, then this is perfect for you. So all you need for this tutorial is 2 types of fabric, one for the outer, one for the lining. You don't use much of it, a button or any sort of closure like a press stud or something like that, and just general sewing equipment and your sewing machine. So there is just one piece that you need to cut out of your main fabric that isn't just a rectangle, but it's really simple and you can draw it really easily, so I'm going to teach you how to do it now. So double your fabric and you're going to want to draw a horizontal line of 2.5 inches. Find the middle and then from that centre mark you're going to want to draw a vertical line of 4.5 inches. And then from the ends of the horizontal line you're going to want to draw 2 lines of 4 inches. And then I just like to eyeball this next step, but you're going to want to connect the 2 4-inch lines with the 4.5-inch line, so it kind of makes a sort of semicircle effect. And then once you've done that, you're just going to want to cut it out. So take one of your lining and one of your main side flaps and you're going to want to place them right sides together, pin them in place, and then you're going to want to sew down one of the longest edges. Turn it right sides out, iron it flat, and then over sew over the seam. And then you're going to want to repeat that with your remaining side flap pieces. Now moving on to your closure piece, you're going to want to place them both right sides together, pin them in place, and then sew all of the way around it, leaving the top edge open. And then once you've sewn it, you're going to want to clip the seam around the curved edge. Make sure you don't cut into the seam though. And then once you've done that, you can turn it right sides out, press it flat, and over sew all the way around it. Then take one of your strap pieces and you're going to want to fold it in half right sides together and then pin it together. And then you're going to want to sew all of the way down that long edge. Once you've sewn it, take a safety pin to help you turn it right sides out, and then you can iron it flat. And then just over sew down the 2 longest edges. And then repeat that with your other strap piece. Now take your main piece and along one of the shortest edges, find the centre and then just mark it with a pin. At that centre point, you're going to want to place your closure piece and pin it in place. And then along that same edge, starting from the outside, marking in, you're going to want to find 1 inch and then just mark it with a pin. And then do the same on the other short edge. Now at each of these marks you just made, you're going to want to pin to your fabric your strap pieces. Make sure that you don't twist them up though, and that they will lie flat in the middle to help us later on. Then on top of all of that, you're going to want to pin your 2 side flap pieces right sides facing down to your fabric, making sure that you match up the raw edges so that the seamed edge that we sewed earlier on is facing into the middle. Now this is the last thing we're going to pin, I promise you, and it's your main lining piece, and you're going to want to pin it on top of all of that, right sides facing down, and make sure you pin all around it. And then you can sew all of the way around your book cover, but make sure you leave about a 2-inch gap on one of the sides to help us turn it right sides out later on. Once you've sewn it, clip all 4 corners, and then using that gap in your sewing, you can turn it right sides out, making sure you poke all of the corners out. And then you can give it all a good press. Make sure you iron the seam allowance at the hole over as well, because now we're going to over sew along the 2 longest edges to close that gap. And then on the front of your book cover, so that's the side without your closure pattern piece, you're going to want to mark from the top in the centre 1/2 inch, and then on your closure piece you're going to want to mark 1/2 inch up from the bottom centre. And then at these marks add whatever closure you're adding, whether that's a press stud or a button like me. So if you're doing a button like me, you're going to want to sew a buttonhole on the closure piece and then a button on the front of your book cover. And that's it, you're all done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions about it, feel free to drop them in the comments. I always answer all of my comments, and I hope to see you next time on the channel.